Tonight on NewsWatch, dead on arrival. Democrats and Republicans say President Obama's secret plan for immigration reform falls short.
Plus, entertainment versus education, how watching better TV can produce better children.
And for years, the medical industry has been warning patients to keep their cholesterol levels low. But now some cardiologists say cholesterol is actually good for you. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. Good evening. I'm Mark Martin.
And I'm Heather Sells. If the battle over immigration reform wasn't hot enough, a leaked White House plan sparked even more conflict this weekend.
Republicans say the president is using the issue to gain political advantage rather than solve the problems actually caused by illegal immigration. John Waggy has more in tonight's top story.
The plan leaked to USA Today Saturday would create a visa for those who are in the country illegally, and it would let them become legal residents within 8 years. The plan also includes more money for border security and calls for business owners to check the immigration status of new hires within 4 years. The White House claims it's just a backup plan in case Congress doesn't act on the issue. Republicans suggest that securing more Democratic voters may be a higher priority for the president than solving the problem of 11 million illegal residents.
Leaks don't happen in Washington by accident. This raises the question that many of us continue to wonder about. Does the president really want a result, or does he want another cudgel to beat up Republicans so that he can get political advantage in the next election?
The White House says less histrionics and more action is needed from Capitol Hill.
I hope that Republicans and Democrats up there don't get involved in some kind of typical Washington back and forth sideshow here, and rather just roll up their sleeves and get to work.
Cuban-American Senator Marco Rubio has been a point man for Republicans in looking for compromise legislation. He says the difference between his plan and the president's is that extending green card status should come after the government makes a good faith effort to secure the borders.
And the only way we're going to be able to do that and get the support we need to get this done is if we win people's confidence that we're really going to secure the border, we're really going to have workplace enforcement through E-Verify or something like that. And I think that's a difference because the White House is saying they don't want any preconditions to the path to a green card, and that's not going to work.
Both Republicans and Democrats predict the leaked plan would fail if submitted to Congress in its current form. John Waggy, CBN News.
Senator Marco Rubio has turned his infamous sip of water during the Republican response to the State of the Union into a successful fundraising campaign. A source tells ABC News that Reclaim America, Rubio's political action committee, has raised more than $100,000 by selling 3,400 water bottles since Wednesday. The bottles come with Rubio's name, and they come with a minimum contribution of $25. A donation request reads, "Send the liberal detractors a message that not only does Marco Rubio inspire you, he hydrates you too."
The doctor who made the keynote speech at the National Prayer Breakfast is still getting a lot of attention. Dr. Ben Carson spoke about taxes and health care in his address. So far, his speech has gotten more than 2 million views on YouTube and catapulted his book, America the Beautiful, to number 3 on Amazon. Critics say Carson's remarks were too political for a prayer breakfast. On ABC's This Week on Sunday, Carson said there's another reason for the strong reaction.
I make of it the fact that before I gave that talk, I prayed and asked God to give me wisdom, what to say, what would resonate, what would be important. And, I don't think it was particularly political.
When asked for his opinion on President Obama, Dr. Carson said he's a good politician. He also said that as far as getting into politics is concerned, I leave that up to God.
You may have noticed that gas prices keep rising. The average price of a gallon of regular unleaded went up 12 cents last week to $3.67, and that is a 42-cent increase in the last month. Economists blame the high price of oil and say high gas prices this early in the year could mean more pain at the pump in the spring. Prices usually go up 40 to 60 cents a gallon March through May. That means the national average could hit $4 a gallon in May.
Winter weather is blasting much of the U.S. today. A dangerous new storm is causing problems from the Rockies to the Dakotas. And in New England, blizzard conditions hammered residents with heavy snow and powerful winds, causing whiteout conditions Sunday. This new blast comes as many in the region are still recovering from that monster blizzard that buried some areas under 3 feet of snow.
Scientists are still scratching their heads over last week's cosmic coincidence. On Friday, the biggest meteor to hit Earth in more than 100 years struck Russia just hours before a massive asteroid made a close pass. The incident has scientists, the United Nations, and even Congress searching for ways to better identify asteroids that could threaten Earth.
The meteor that exploded over Russia carried the explosive force of 20 Hiroshima bombs. And only hours after the meteor hit Russia, a 150-foot asteroid missed Earth by only 17,000 miles. NASA says there was no connection between the two, but it raises the specter of the threat that asteroids can pose to Earth. Experts say this could be a cosmic warning shot and a reminder to continue to invest in space science.
20 years ago, if DA-14 flew by the Earth, we would have never known it.
The UN and the House Science, Space and Technology Committee announced plans to investigate the threat of asteroids to Earth. One former NASA astronaut is already developing a plan to detect asteroids. It's a deep space telescope called Sentinel, and it could give Earth decades of advance warning when something major is heading our way.
With 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of notice, it's actually pretty straightforward to deflect an asteroid.
Lou says his project will cost about $450 million. He's hoping to raise the money through public donations. And he says it's a small price you pay when you think of the alternative. Officials estimate it will cost over $33 million to repair damage from the Russian meteor.
How could we let our civilization or parts of our civilization or huge parts of our cities or whatever go away, be destroyed, if we could have done something about it?
And actually, back in 2010, a National Research Council report called for Congress to provide more funds to find asteroids bigger than a football field.
An Islamic extremist group is taking responsibility for kidnapping 7 foreign workers in Nigeria. Ansari is a group with links to al-Qaeda and has kidnapped other foreigners in Nigeria in the past. Raiders used explosives to force their way into the housing compound of a Lebanese construction firm. In a statement, the group said the kidnapping was, quote, based on the transgression and atrocities done to the religion of Allah by the European countries in many places such as Afghanistan and Mali.
The ministry World Compassion is issuing an urgent call to prayer for the release of an imprisoned Iraqi pastor. World Compassion's Dr. Terry Law says that the government arrested a man known as Pastor Jamal back in 2011 for his faith. He's now suffering serious medical problems, and the prison he's in does not have the equipment to treat him. Dr. Law is known for traveling to countries that are hostile to the gospel. He personally worked with Pastor Jamal delivering food to refugees in northern Iraq.
Christian missionary and evangelist T.L. Osborne has died. Once dubbed the father of the gospel, Osborne passed away on Thursday. His daughter posted news of his death on Twitter, saying he suffered no sickness or pain, that the Lord simply took his breath away. He started Osborne Ministries with his wife Daisy back in 1949. Their ministry reached more than 100 nations, with meetings drawing up to 300,000 people. He lived by the motto, one way, Jesus, one job, evangelism. But he also experienced his share of grief. 3 of his children died prematurely, and his wife Daisy died in his arms. And he talked about that experience on the 700 Club.
Discouragement and even, depression, oppression. It is a matter of the thoughts that we choose to retain. Mm-hmm. If we think depressing thoughts, we'll be depressed. I had to change my way of thinking. Instead of lamenting Daisy's death and being gone from me, I said to myself, wait, this isn't helping me and it won't help anybody else. So I changed my thoughts and I drew from my memory bank and remembered when she was with me. Mm-hmm. And so I comfort myself. God comforts me, but you got to take control.
T.L. Osborne was 89 years old. And you can see complete interviews with T.O. Osborne from his appearances on the 700 Club over the years by going to our website, cbnnews.com.
Coming up are the TV programs your child is watching harming their development. We'll tell you how switching shows can make a difference.
Ow, my feet hurt. My feet hurt, your feet hurt. White hot pain, I wanna cry. Is there anything I can try?
Why, yes! Introducing Strut Soul Angels, the human shock absorber that helps alleviate foot pain.
The first 10 steps in the morning to the bathroom were excruciating. Within 3 days after I put Struts on, it's been such a relief.
Slipped it on and almost immediately I felt a support, kind of like a pillow underneath my arches.
The Struts Soul Angel provides a great amount of relief and support throughout the course of the day, providing shock absorption and relief of pain.
On your feet without proper support can be painful. Strut Soul Angels promotes better balance, control, and body alignment. Standing in your heels all day is painful, but slip on Struts and you'll enjoy comfort and support 24/7. Struts is so versatile, you'll wear them in every shoe you own, even barefoot.
I'm on my feet all the time. I teach 11 and 12-year-olds. The pain was so much that I knew I had to do something. And with the Struts, I can do my job and enjoy my job.
I usually am on my feet from 8 to 12 hours a day. When I wear my Struts, it's like giving my feet a hug all day.
It's life-changing. I wear them from the minute I get up to the minute I go to bed.
Why pay $400 for custom orthotics?
Now get Strut Soul Angels for just $10. You also get Miracle Foot Repair Cream, absolutely free. Use it to help relieve dry, callous feet overnight. But wait, call right now and we'll double the offer free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Plus, you get a 100% money-back guarantee. If not completely delighted, send it back. But keep the foot cream as our gift just for trying. You get it all. A $70 value for just $10.
Oh, yes! Love my Struts, love my Struts. The best thing since sliced bread. They heal pain from toes to head. Get yours now, your doctor said.
Struts. Be nice to your feet. Call now.
Call 1-800-787-1580 and get your Struts and Miracle Foot Repair for just $10 and we'll double the offer. That's 1-800-787-1580 or visit getstruts.com.
The U.S. Justice Department says homeschooling is not a fundamental right. That's the argument they made in federal court against an evangelical Christian family from Germany, which is seeking asylum in the U.S. The Romeike family was forced to flee Germany or risk losing their 5 children. The German government was trying to force them to put their children in public schools. U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, however, is arguing that asylum should not be granted to homeschoolers, even if they claim their religious freedoms are being violated. The Homeschool Legal Defense Association is representing the Romeike family.
We are troubled by the arguments made in the briefs by the government. And they essentially say that it's okay for a country, even a democratic country, to actually ban all home education. They say that there's no problem with this because it's equally applied, which we would take issue with their view of the facts. But that's very troubling from our government to say that.
It is troubling. Well, Michael Donnelly points out there's currently a move to undermine parental rights in Connecticut and other states in the U.S. You can find the rest of his interview at cbnnews.com.
The passenger charged with slapping a toddler during a Delta flight is now without a job. 60-year-old Joe Hundley is charged with assaulting a minor after he allegedly hit a 19-month-old. The boy was traveling in the neighboring seat with his mother from Minneapolis to Atlanta. Hundley reportedly made a racial slur before slapping the child for crying and being disruptive. In a statement, his employer, an aircraft's part manufacturer, said Hundley is no longer with the company.
A new study shows better TV equals better behavior among children. The study suggests that changing the channel from violent TV shows to educational TV can improve the behavior of preschoolers. The study comes from the Seattle Children's Research Institute. It shows the improvement is modest and fades over time, but lead author Dr. Dimitri Christakis says it proves that what children watch is as important as how much they watch.
And joining us to talk about this is Dr. Linda Mintle. She's a family therapist and author of Raising Healthy Kids in an Unhealthy World. And Linda, do you think we really need a study to tell us that kids are affected by what they watch on TV? Isn't that just common sense?
Well, you would think so. But if you think about the national conversation that's been going on in the past few weeks,
in terms of violence in kids, we don't hear too much about media and the role that media play. I think this study was really important because it had such a direct impact when you looked at it, especially when you removed the violence and you saw such a change in the behavior of those kids in terms of their empathy, their respect for other kids, the sharing that they engaged in. It was such a powerful difference by just changing the content.
A lot of people who are parents find themselves sometimes falling into that trap of using the TV as a babysitter. How do you advise parents who are facing that temptation?
So number one, I would say get the TV out of the bedroom, especially with young kids. They just do not make good decisions, and they don't understand at a very young age the difference between fantasy and reality when they're looking at violence. The second thing is there's no shortcut. You know this, Heather, that there's no shortcut in terms of monitoring what they're watching, looking at those programs, having conversations about the way people solve problems. Because one of the things that we're seeing with this research is that it's teaching kids to resolve conflicts with violence when they watch violence as a means of resolving conflict on television. And the last thing is you've got to look at what they're watching in terms of that content. So shows like VeggieTales and all the great cartoons that are there that are not violent. And we know that a lot of cartoons have violence in them. I think there's a study that shows that 20 to 25 acts of violence are seen in the Saturday morning hours when kids watch TV the most.
Would you agree that that parents should focus more on the content than the actual hours that their kids are watching, or should they look at both? How should they view the whole situation?
Both of those things are important because we know that the American Academy of Pediatrics has recommended that children see less than 2 hours a day of all screens. That's not just television, and we know kids are very good at other kinds of devices as well. So I think the amount of time, because there are other fallouts from the amount of time kids are watching television, like childhood obesity is directly the very nature of kids sitting rather than going out and play. And TV screens don't teach kids creativity and imagination. They don't teach leadership skills and other important skills that kids need. So yes, pay attention to the content because this study says it's very important, but also get your kids off of those screens and get them outside and into some other activities.
All right, sounds very good. Dr. Linda Mindel, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Up next, check your medicine cabinet because one commonly prescribed drug may be speeding up the rate of Alzheimer's. We'll tell you what it is.
Listen up for an amazing offer that can change the way you hear.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
Frustrated with your hearing?
What did he say?
Well, hear better now. Introducing the fully rechargeable MSA 30X, a revolutionary device that features the latest microsound amplification technology that can barely be seen. Independently tested to help you hear up to 30 times better. It turns ordinary hearing into extraordinary hearing. MSA 30X works by capturing and amplifying sound waves, yet its lightweight ergoacoustic design is discreet. It form-fits in and around either ear.
I forget I'm even wearing it.
And MSA 30X is powerful. Hear clearly in restaurants. Never miss another word on TV or at the movies.
My wife complains that I have the volume up on the TV too loud.
And I didn't want to be in the same room with them.
Now I can hear everything clearly.
Simply adjust the volume as you desire. Other units use so many batteries and they're difficult to change. But the MSA 30X is completely rechargeable. Simply plug it into the wall.
I tried other devices that had batteries, but they were always such a pain to change and so costly. But this is rechargeable, so I figure I save hundreds a year.
Bulky sound amplifiers can cost hundreds, but try MSA 30X for just $59.95 and we'll include a cleaning brush and 5 comfort tips. But wait, in this special TV offer, we'll cut the price in half. Now you can hear up to 30 times better for just $29.95. But there's even more. We'll double the offer free. Just pay additional processing and handling. Wear them both or give one to a loved one. Did you hear that? That's 2 MSA 30Xs for just $29.95. The MSA 30X Hear Better Now offer. Get 2 for just $29.95.
All I can say is just try it. It could change your life.
To order the MSA 30X sound amplifier, call 1-800-535-0654. That's 1-800-535-0654. Or you can go to MSA30X.com. Call or go online now.
Heart disease is America's #1 killer, but what causes it?
First, doctors blamed cholesterol. Then we heard that only bad cholesterol was the problem.
Now some cardiologists are changing their diagnosis again. Lori Johnson has more in tonight's Focus Report.
In the fight for better health, Americans view cholesterol as public enemy #1.
Doctors tell us to stay away from food high in saturated fat like butter, eggs, and meat because it's responsible for heart disease. But what if that's wrong?
You know, cholesterol is found at the scene of the crime for heart disease, but it's not the perpetrator.
Cardiologist Stephen Sinatra and a growing number of physicians believe cholesterol does not cause heart disease. They point the finger at inflammation, which can be caused by eating too much sugar. Sinatra admits a small fraction of cholesterol is bad because it's inflammatory, but for the most part, it's good for you.
Cholesterol many times can be a gift in disguise, a higher cholesterol.
In his new book, The Great Cholesterol Myth, Sinatra explains that since half of all patients hospitalized for heart disease have high cholesterol, that means the other half have low cholesterol.
I was doing angiograms on people with cholesterols of 150, and they had far advanced heart disease. And the converse, I would do an angiogram on somebody with cholesterols of 280, and they had no heart disease.
Since high cholesterol gets the blame from most doctors, they prescribe cholesterol-lowering statin drugs to their patients with it. But Sinatra says only a small percentage actually need the drug. He only prescribes statins to middle-aged men with coronary heart disease, like Albert Tays.
Other than getting older, I'm not feeling any worse for wear.
Sinatra says a small percentage of women can also benefit from statins as an anti-inflammatory, not to lower cholesterol. But he says for many statin users, the risks outweigh the gains.
The side effects of statins are grossly underreported. I mean, grossly underreported.
Muscle pain and fatigue are two key complaints.
Doc, I can't get out of a chair anymore. I have weakness in my thighs. I can't play doubles tennis. I walk the dog and I'm vitally exhausted. These are statin side effects. However, a lot of the doctors or the patients think they're getting older. They're not getting older. These are statin side effects.
Patients over 70 are especially vulnerable.
They can't remember names. They can't remember where they put their glasses or keys. They forget sometimes who they are. If you do take a statin, it can actually bring on the onset of Alzheimer's disease by 15 years. So you got to be cautious with statins.
So while statins may or may not be right for you, one thing is certain. Reducing inflammation is good for your heart no matter who you are.
The best way to do that is cut back on sugar.
You know, cholesterol is sort of your friend. Sugar is your foe. It's the villain. It's your enemy.
Sugar damages arteries, increases blood pressure, and ages your organs. And we're not just talking about soda and candy, but also food that turns into sugar as soon as you eat it. Refined carbohydrates like white bread, white pasta, and white rice. 68-year-old Joan Jackson is living proof that a low-sugar diet improves your heart. At one point, she needed a heart transplant, but after changing her diet and lifestyle, Joan was taken off the transplant list.
I feel great. I'm not going to say I'm 16, but I feel great at my age. I feel I can do anything and accomplish anything I want to.
Her secret? Good old-fashioned self-control.
We have a tendency of saying, oh, I want that last piece of pie, or I'm going to have this piece of candy. But sometimes you have to say no.
Dr. Sinatra describes his healthiest patients as those who avoid sugar and refined carbohydrates and, get this, fill up on fats. He highly recommends unsaturated fats like nuts, avocados, fish, and olive oil. He even touts saturated fats like unprocessed meat and coconut oil.
Coconut oil is a saturated fat. Because it's a saturated fat, it's less prone to oxidation. So it really protects you.
But stay away from trans fat, which is man-made and added to most packaged foods.
I call trans fats unguided missiles that really cause enormous inflammation of blood vessels.
Remember to pay close attention to the ingredients in your food. The word hydrogenated is your red flag because that means trans fat. So while doctors may disagree about whether cholesterol causes heart disease, one thing is certain. If you go easy on sugar and trans fats, you're headed in the right direction. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Up next, an extreme home blessing. CBN's Operation Blessing rebuilds for one very special Hurricane Sandy victim.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new GripGo, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and GripGo grabs your phone ultra fast. Then it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of GripGo. You can get the amazing GripGo with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete GripGo systems for just $14.95.
To order GripGo for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
John Mapes is 42, mortgage, married, 2 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. John can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $25 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll search the pick of insurers like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. John's wife, Carrie, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or visit SelectQuote.com.
New York residents are still picking up the pieces months after Hurricane Sandy hit the Northeast.
But thanks to Operation Blessing, one Queens resident doesn't have to wait any longer for her life to resume.
We have something very special we want to say to you. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Barbara Joyce got the surprise of her life when she toured her home after it was rebuilt by more than 100 volunteers. The 78-year-old cancer survivor had been living with friends and in hotels since the storm. Her home was flooded with over 3 feet of water. Operation Blessing volunteers spent days cleaning, painting, and refurbishing the house.
Oh my God! Oh my God, it's beautiful! Look at those gorgeous floors. Oh my God. Look at the closets. Oh.
Operation Blessing plans to gut and clean 10 to 15 other homes in the area, and what a difference that kind of project makes.
Well, it's so neat to see Operation Blessing still in there day in and day out, making a difference.
Months after.
Yeah.
That is all for this edition of NewsWatch.
Yeah, remember, you can email us your comments and questions at newswatch@cbn.com. Hope you'll join us next time.
Good night.